Peace and blessings, and welcome back to another just chillin' chat where I'm just talking about my life and things that are going on. So, it appears that I have pulled a nerve or pinched a nerve or something. I did go to my PCP today, and my PCP is essentially they've got me on steroids as well as taking some anti-inflammatory ibuprofen or whatever the case may be. However, for 2025, I was talking to my guy about different things that I'm trying to do to elevate, as we all are trying to elevate in this time and, world and all this good stuff. And so, what I'm finding is that I feel like we should all try to be our best selves every day, try to learn something every day. So, lately, what I've been watching is I've actually been watching people from other countries, how they view us, like trying our food and different things. And it's actually been pretty funny and pretty interesting. But really, the whole idea behind of it is to get some perception on how, because a lot of times when people aren't from a certain area, they'll think a certain thing differently, which is okay. You need all types of people to make the world go around, even some of the ones that you think that are crazy. So anyway, that's been pretty interesting. But still working on my weight loss. I know for today, what I ended up doing, I had this morning I had sausage, I had zucchini, I had a bell pepper, half a bell pepper, and then I put some cream cheese on top of that, and then I put one egg on top. So that right there kind of met my keto, thing of what I was having. And then for lunch, because I had the doctor's appointment, my kid had not eaten because, it's break, so they just like living their best life. They ain't trying to like do nothing complicated or whatever. And so I stopped by McDonald's, and I'm gonna tell you, single parents or whatever the case may be, we all trying to save money. Sorry, I'm getting some water. Use that McDonald's app, y'all. I'm telling you, I got him everything he needed for $4. That's what we all need to do. And then he's always like, Mom, why are you so worried about da 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 da? It's only a couple of dollars. I'd be like, boy, why would you pay more if you don't have to? I don't know. That don't make no sense to me. So anyway, and I just got myself a cheeseburger. Yeah, ended up being $4.27. That's the type of deals I like. But anyway, so I had come back and I was asking ChatGPT how many carbs was in a cheeseburger. And it was 32 carbs, and I only have 30 carbs per day. 30 grams of carbs per day. I think it's grams. Anyway, yes. Yeah. Anyway, don't give me the line. But anyway, you can't have many carbs on this diet that I'm on. And it's not really a diet per se. It's just you're ensuring that you're not eating carbs and starchy vegetables. So it's really pretty simple. I know, like for Christmas and whatnot, my boyfriend was like, well, what can you eat? Like they're trying to figure out what you can eat. And I said, just keep it real simple. A meat, fat, leafy greens. That simple. Like we try to make it more complicated than it has to be, but it's really not that complicated. And so, anyway, and then, no sweets and sugars and stuff like that. And I just actually had some coffee. I drink a lot of coffee. I don't know. I guess because there's not a lot of sweets that I can eat, and it does kind of feed that need for something kind of sweet. And I'm using the monk fruit in it. Which, side note, when you get the monk fruit from the grocery store, you don't really realize that it is, or maybe I'm the only one that didn't realize that it is mixed with other things, erythritol and all that kind of stuff. And I was noticing that it had more carbs than I thought it was supposed to, because I was like, wait a minute, Monk fruit is not supposed to have hardly anything, you know. So anyway, so I actually ordered some monk powder. And when I tell y'all, this stuff is like, is when they say powder, they mean powder. It's so messy. But, you know, you don't need much of it. You get a little bitty canister, but that little bitty canister lasts you for a long time. And the first time I used some of it, I didn't realize how sweet it was. And so anyway, so that's just to tell you what I had today, what my day was today. Now, I do need to go ahead and begin to work with my meals later in the day, because I find that I'm usually not hungry for dinner, but then the later that it gets, I'm hungry. So here I am at 9:30, 10 o'clock, like going in there to make something. I do these things called crustless pizza that my son is absolutely falling in love with. And he's always like, Mom, make me a crustless pizza, you know. And I'm like, I don't know if we should be eating those every day. You know, it's just kind of like something that I put together really quickly. And with a crustless pizza, I'm actually going to put a picture of it up at the end of the video so you can see it. And essentially all you do is you take a nonstick pan and you put some mozzarella in the bottom of the nonstick pan. Now, I use shredded mozzarella, but I'm guessing you could use any type of mozzarella. And then you let it kind of crisp. And, you know, as the mozzarella begins to melt, it'll start relaxing and kind of get a little bit more. But what I do is I keep forming it into a circle. So I take a spatula, a silicone spatula, and I keep, you know, pushing it so it will not get too far out of whack, because I kind of like it to look like a pizza. And then once it's gotten a little bit more crispy or whatever, once it's kind of I've got it shaped right, I'll go ahead and then I'll put the pepperoni on it. And sometimes I will put, before I put the pepperoni though, I normally put some fresh garlic and some basil. And so what's happening at that particular point is that cheese has created like a oil. And you'll find a lot of times it'll be a ton of it in the bottom. And then at that particular point, that's when you put the pepperoni on it or bacon bits. A lot of times I'll get bacon bits simply because it's simple, because then I don't have to cook any bacon. And so then you'll do the bacon, put the bacon bits on it or whatever. And then I normally sprinkle a little Parmesan on top. And so you have to get good at it. It's kind of like when you first start making pancakes the first 5 times you make pancakes, you're going to jack them up when you try to move them. The crustless pizza is like that, but generally what I do is I take the pan and I tilt it, and then I'll slide it out onto the plate. As it gets cool, you'll get to the point where you can pick it up like a slice of pizza. But anyway, it is so delicious. I used to do these pizza bells. That was pretty good too. But what makes it so delicious is the cheese on the bottom gets really crispy. You know, it's kind of like on a pizza when you got that crispy cheese and it's really good. But the whole bottom of this pizza is crispy. And I mean, it's really easy to clean up because it's oil in the pan, and then you just basically wipe the pan down. You know what I mean? And yeah, so if you're on keto and you're trying to do something, try that. It's really neat, because when you're on keto, there are certain things that you miss, like a slice of pizza, a piece of cake or whatever. So a lot of times if you can find something that just feeds the need, that's enough. But the pizza bells are another thing that I do, where I take, and it's normally the yellow, reds, and oranges that are like the best. And so what I'll do is I'll put them in the air fryer and char them. And then I'll put pizza toppings on top. I put like a little bit of butter and garlic in the bell pepper once it's been charred. And then I will put down my cheese and my pepperoni. When I tell y'all, don't knock it till you done tried it. It's so stinking good. But anyway, so I'll go ahead so I can leave you guys a couple of pictures of what I've been doing as far as food is concerned. But I will tell you that if you don't know me, my YouTube channel is Queen Tings, and basically what I do is I'm losing weight. I'm a regular person losing weight through clean keto. And when I say clean keto, that means, you've got your fat, moderate protein, and you're eating a lot of leafy greens. I think I did keto a few years ago, and I didn't realize, I didn't like it a couple of years ago because I was doing dirty keto and I really didn't know the difference. But at that time is when keto had first come out, which, okay, let's go ahead and just say it. Keto ain't nothing but a modified Atkins diet. Don't nobody want to say that. And people say, act like it's not true. But, if you're like me and you watch your movies and all this kind of stuff like that, a lot of this stuff don't be nothing but reimagined. It's the same crap. It's reimagined. But anyway, I didn't like it because it was way too much meat and too much fat and everything. And I was like, I just felt sick all the time. Well, what it was is I wasn't eating the vegetables. And, the keto that I'm on now, clean keto, you're not eating any starchy vegetables. So I'm not eating, of course, any corn. I'm not eating just vegetables, beans, not having any of those. Now, does that mean that I won't cycle those foods back into my diet sparingly once I get to my goal weight? Maybe. But, these aren't things that I was eating a ton of anyway. But you're eating a lot of leafy greens. So you can have greens, you can have green beans, I think you can have peas, but I think peas are more carby. So you kind of have to be careful. It's just basically you're watching your carbs and you're watching your starches. So potatoes and stuff you really don't eat. But anyway, one thing I have to say, I'm about 30 pounds down. It is the easiest diet I've ever been on my life. All those cravings and stuff that you have, I'm going to tell you, sis, it is not in your mind. What happens when you're eating the standard American diet, you're constantly having fluctuations in your sugar. You're constantly having insulin spikes all day. And the thing about the insulin spikes that I did not realize is that the insulin spikes essentially tell your body, go feed. We're hungry, go eat. So when you're eating the standard American diet and you're constantly getting these insulin spikes through all of this sugary food, all of this, a ton of fruit will do it to you too. Nothing wrong with fruit. And on the clean keto, I can have berries. The thing is, though, I don't eat them as much because when you're trying to keep your carbs at 30 and below, if I eat a whole cup of blueberries, that pretty much can blow those 30 carbs like nobody's business. And it makes me think in my mind, it makes me wonder like how many carbs I was eating a day, probably eating a ton. And like I said, what happens is your body's constantly spiking. Okay. And it never gets around to burning fat because you're constantly getting these insulin spikes, which is constantly making you hungry. And you think that you don't have any willpower. It's not. It's the spikes in the insulin. It's your body constantly, dealing with these spikes in insulin. And that's the reason why you can't eat right to save your life. That's the reason why you're always hungry. I remember the diet that I was on before this, or another, healthy thing that I was on, I was working out like crazy. Yes, I was losing weight, but I was always hungry. And at the end of the day, I would find myself on the phone with my boyfriend crying. And I'm like, if I got to do this to lose weight, because I've always been active to a certain degree. So I had to do a lot of working out. And I was like, who can live like this? I can't live like this. I like to do flowers and, just certain things I like to do. I'm a foodie. And I'm like, this can't be my lifestyle. I can't be, in the gym for hours on end. It's not what I enjoy doing. So my point is to you. Do something that you enjoy doing that doesn't feel like work for you. And I'm going to say that over and over and over again. If you like to dance, like I like to dance and ain't got no damn rhythm, but I be doing it, okay? If you like to skate, whatever it is you like to do, walk, do it, okay? But when it comes to this whole eating right, you have to find your zen to do it. You have to find whatever it is that works for you. And the thing that works for somebody else ain't gonna work for you. Anyway, peace and blessings. I wish y'all the best. And yeah, I'll be with y'all tomorrow just talking about things. And maybe we'll go over finance and stuff like that. Peace and blessings.